More or Nothing.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Maul or Nothing with a very relaxed looking Ryan Wilson and our dearest, winningest Max Laheath. Let's start with Maxie boy. Mate, everything you wanted from what Pat called a quarter-final, you got. Talk us through it.
Starting off really well, actually. George Kloska going over, then Joe Batley. Then the plucky Quins came back with a try through Don Brandt, I believe. And then basically in the third sort of quarter, it got a little bit weird. That's when I got on. Suddenly they scored like 2 or 3 times in quick succession. I was like, hold up, this isn't me, is it? Oh, no, I just gone on. What's happening here, boys?
Why do you boys do that? Like,
I don't know.
Poor Uncle Pat. I'm on his side at the moment.
Mate, I think it's just good filmmaking. You know what I mean? You've got to create adversity to persevere through it. There's got to be, for the protagonist, there needs to be like a decent form of obstacle. And then you persevere through that. And then there's like a kind of theatrical release right at the end.
Who's your defence coach? What's the name of your defence?
No, Jordan Crane. Yeah, I feel for him, bro. Because our attack is helter-skelter. It's organised chaos. And we do enjoy giving a few free balls away. And it's like, statistically, it's like we've let teams score so many first phase like turnover tries on us just because of how loose we can get.
I think I heard it mentioned. I think it was something like 19 tries off of turnover. Like, is that all you practice in the week? Like, right, pretend we've knocked the ball on, give it to someone.
Bro, we play a lot of transition, yeah. But what's it like? Longest yard, you know, in the where they're in the mud bank and they're like whoop 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 with the ball. Mate, it can get like that. It gets like that, but it's got us here. So total rugby all day, boys.
It has got you there, but mate, at one point. All you got to do is win, and because you've got 4 tries in about 20 minutes, and then it's just they get back to within a score, and you look at it going,
I was like this. I was like,
oh no,
boy. Looking around, I was like, Fitz, don't panic. Nobody panic. You know when you're under the
I don't want the blame.
You got boys going like, don't worry, lads, don't panic. I'm like, well, when you say that, you're panicking. It's like the most paradox statement to make. It's like telling someone to calm down who's angry, but. Here we are. We got through that. It was a fun game, man. It was helter-skelter. I managed to take too much caffeine, though. I had a semi-panic attack at one point, but all was well. And then my first scrum, I think, I was up against Finn, and I it hadn't happened for a while, but you know when you get locked in? Got both carotids and then suddenly I was like this. What's going on here? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. But then the scrum stopped, and I was like this. Oh, that was weird. Kind of euphoric, but also quite alarming. But,
You're hyperventilating where you're
like... Well, yeah, mate, I was like this. I almost passed out, gents. There was like a 5-minute spell where it was like up, down, up, down. And I was like, yeah, it could be time. Could be time to hang up. But anyway, shout out to my man, Jan Thomas. That was his last home game. I'm glad we sent him out on a high there. Now onwards to Bath at the Rec. But, mate, yeah. What a mental game. Great.
It's a weird time of the season. It's a weird time of the season, isn't it? Because like there's so many highs, there's so many lows. There's also boys
mate.
Like at Glasgow the other night. You know that this is their last game. This is their last game at home. It's because we know that Glasgow have to go on the road. And we joked if Scarlets maybe won, but it's odd, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? Like you do that last meeting of the season, and the boys are sort of saying their goodbyes. I had to do a speech to send off Jan Thomas. And
I bet that was good.
Everyone's sort of breaking down. Some boys are like just break down. You know, they get the blub on, and then suddenly there's like a few tears, and then some guys' voices break. And I'm just such a terrible empath when it comes to that. So then I start leaking as well. You see all these boys in like true emotional kind of turmoil. It's like the grief of leaving such an intimate social environment. It's quite galling, isn't it? Sometimes with some boys, and watching Jan go out with his children in the tunnel, you can just see it leaking out of his face, and you're just like, "Oh God, I'm gonna go too."
Just a quick pause on that. Then he had nobody to look after his children, from what I heard.
Oh, did you play a cam it? No, I'm sure.
Someone. I think it was one of the reports was like he was then like rushing around the dugout
trying to
find whoever. I guess whoever was his partner, whoever was supposed to be looking.
Yeah. I guess that's a safe enough place to be. It's pit side of the pitch. Padre's just over there. It's all as well. But yeah, man, it was a special day. Really enjoyed it. Try and cherish these things because there's only so many of them left, and they go by so quick when you get to sort of this sort of later stage in your career. It all becomes a bit automatic. So you try and like take a moment to treasure it. But here we are.
Well, one of those leaving Glasgow's coming to you, mate. Obviously, Tommy Jordan, and we'll get on to the Glasgow game in a minute. He was outstanding, like next level, showing why he should be in that Lions squad. A couple of ones like Sebastian Cantilia, Argentinian, but just becomes part of the club. There was a guy, Bernie Stortoni, back in the day when I first came there, and he was like he was part of the woodwork, Bernie. And when he left, it was like massive. And you look at some of these players like Seba, gutted to see him moving on. Absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
The SRU, though, having a big old push on trying to get rid of a lot of foreign players now.
Oh, they
Which worries me. Which worries me a bit because some of those guys are the ones that keep them together in Six Nations, you know. So we'll see.
Speaking of Argentinians, actually, big shout out to Pedro Rubiola coming back from a Liz Frank injury. Played 80 minutes, mate. The guy is the Terminator. 21-year-old lock forward. He is a savage, Ryan.
Is he the one? Sorry, is he the one that you signed right this season?
Yeah.
And
Newcastle, mate.
Oh, was he looking good? Was he?
Yeah. He's a metal endoskeleton with a cybernetic organism kind of vibes. Just got that aura.
One of them.
Yeah, real Terminator T1000. Yeah, horrible bloke, just relentless. In the warm up, you know, when you're doing like the drills, and some boys sort of take a bit off it, even for the warm up before the game. Mate, he's absolutely pulverized. He's giving me whiplash on the pads. It's like pads phase whip. He's coming for the clean. Just decimated my spinal column. But such is life. I was like, Pedro, I thought we were friends. But man, the bloke was fired up.
You've set up a semi-final against Bath now.
I know. Friday night lights at the Rec. Is there any better place?
Is it Friday night, is it?
13,000 people willing you to lose, paying for your blood. Oh, God.
Do you know what? Like, how many Bristol fans will get down there?
Not many. They'll be priced out with that unbelievable ticket price that.
But there's surely an allocation to Bristol.
Yeah, there'll be a few down there, but it will be heavily blue, black, and white. But I'm all for it. I will enjoy the hostilities very much.
Hey, Mark, do we
get down there?
Mark, do we try and get down there? Are you in Hong Kong? You're in Singapore, aren't you?
Yeah, I literally just got back, mate. I can't.
I can't even.
I can't. After everything that I've been doing, yeah. After a week of non-stoppage, I feel like that would be. I'm just going to go pop. I think maybe it'll be a different discussion if Max can take us through to the final. That'll be a different one. But to be fair, Max, with the Bath, you've beaten them 11 out of 14 times.
Yeah, you don't want to go. You don't want to sort of use that as a.
No, you're like, don't.
You know what I mean? You want to be careful of that. And I think Bath are a very different beast right now. I think they're really feeling themselves. They've rested themselves well, obviously, with that squad rotation.
But that sometimes doesn't help. Look at Leinster. That sometimes doesn't help.
Yeah, no, you're right. So,
how long was it going to take you to just?
No. I wasn't. No, I'm trying to build Max up. When you just asked that question there, we got like a we've got to build him up, Mark. Come on. Arthur's gone and rested, boys. Finn's been up here playing golf, probably been on the piss. Like they're going to be
nice car he was in there.
They're going to be all out of shape, and Bristol are going to go and score 40 points. Let them come back within one, so it's going to be 40-39, and then just
get it done right at the end there. How good?
Did I see something? Pat come out today, said something about it. To do with the fans, and that the fans weren't accepting that they lost against Bath. They've like in that statement that you just said, 11 out of 14 wins. Like it's not acceptable to lose against Bath. And hey, listen, it's a knockout game.
We don't lose to Bath.
The stakes are real. The stakes are high. The sirloin is on the top shelf. It'll be all good. I can't wait.
Okay? So what was the messaging from Pat? How are things? You know,
just keep it in house. Like. The boys, we've got a sort of self-belief about ourselves. Obviously, I think we'll be the underdogs going into this game, and just enjoy the occasion. You know, enjoy each other's company. We've got another game off the back of that, beating Quins, and we get to keep this group together. It's another week of just enjoying the fellowship of this campaign, and if we can make it continue for another week, we go there.
Is that how it feels though? As in, when you've got stalwarts, Jan Thomas, who's been around for so long, and the other chaps who are leaving, is it like, guys, give me one, just
Oh yeah,
one more round,
oh, yeah.
fellas,
Just
one
give
more
me
glass,
one more shot. Yeah, man.
please,
Oh, it's so
just
good.
one more.
But surely that'll be the same for Bath. Now I'm bringing you back down to earth. Like Bath will be the same. They'll be losing players.
Oh yeah, no, mate. For Bath, this is it's monumental, isn't it? It's a pivotal game for them because if certain things hadn't happened in that final last year, I believe Bath might have won that game. The early red card to Beno Urbano, and I think
They're going for the fake treble.
yeah, and they're going for that treble. The no, almost treble. They're winning all they can win, right?
Yeah,
They're controlling their controllables. I mean, they could have gone
technically
through
not Champions Cup.
Champions
Obviously,
Cup.
they
Yeah,
got,
they did flutter a bit against La Rochelle. But yeah, there's a special group of players as well. Like they've had an incredible season. So,
and actually, you know what it is, Max? Finn Russell, probably a generational talent, of course, and one of the best for Scotland ever, has finally got his monkey off the back, which was that he'd only ever won the same as Ryan up until this season in his whole career.
But he sort of wherever he goes, he's had a bit of a Midas touch. But didn't Racing get to the final?
Yeah, but he's never. That's the thing.
Yeah,
He's never won.
Sorry, can I just double check what was said there?
I'm using you as the barometer.
The same as Ryan. Like you should be ashamed of that. That's all you've done is the same as him. Like,
it'd be cool, man. I'm really excited because most of the semis I've been at, I never got to, like with Bath, didn't get to play. I was like standby for both games, the semi and the final, and then I wasn't ever really involved in the semis with Bristol in the last few years. So,
were you not in that Bristol? You were not in that one.
No, I was standby for that. No, it was
and the COVID challenge. The challenge
was against Wasps. I was injured for that, and then Wasps, when we lost to Wasps in that other semi, it was I think it was John and someone else. I can't remember. But yeah, so Matt, it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. Should be awesome.
So let's take a quick pause from our Prem roundup, and let's round up when we all got together last week. I know it feels far away, but we had a great weekend in Cardiff to kick things off. Although it was a bit strange, didn't you think, Max, seeing Ryan being kind of quite semi-serious for most of it?
Yeah, but and then we saw him right at the end, and he was slightly unorganized, one might say. But no, I thought he was on job. He was treating it like a professional, and that's
thank you very much.
That's a serious gig. That's the Champions Cup final. It's not. You can't mess about with that.
I thought I might be killed at one point when I was in with the Bordeaux fans. When I stood on the edge of the hoardings and I thought I was going to crowd dive in. That was the plan. And then some like French person was like, "Get me out," and just yanked me in. And Mark, what did you think of my French?
Brilliant, because you do an amazing sort of Poirot French accent when you say "congratulations," which is obviously not how you say "congratulations" in French. Which is
you went full Joey Barton, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, Max, have you not seen it? I'm in the crowd bouncing up and down.
No, I saw that bit. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And then he comes off and he's like, Mark, how do you say congratulations? You say it congratulations. I'm like, no,
Félicitations. Wait, here's I actually I found a really funny comment earlier. I'll find it in a minute. But no, it was a good weekend, wasn't it? We had a few. I'll tell you what, I was pretty dusty. Even on Saturday morning after having a few beers on Friday. And I'll tell you what, I've slept with a lot of men over the weekend.
There we go. There's the soundbite. Cut, clip, straight in there.
Clip that up. But I mean, the first night, obviously, Max turns up, needs somewhere to stay, so sleeps in my bed with me. Then I slept in the same room as Mark in Heathrow before we went to Monaco. But when we went out in Monaco, Max, I got back and woke up in the morning. We had a 3-bedroom apartment, bearing in mind, a 3-bedroom apartment in Ez village, beautiful. And I wake up next to Mark in bed with him. That's how needy I am.
So, but not even. There was still space on the side of the bed. I'm like, I literally woke up. And was like,
just like on you.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, so good. But no, I had a good time. I had a good time. Friday, Saturday was a big old day, and we had a few beers. Did you kick on, Max Laheath? Did you kick on Saturday? Because we left you about 11:30 with Cuthbert.
You, Alex Cuthbert, and 10 girls. All of Loss's mates.
Cuffy. He was reminiscing about the good old days. It was good crack. No, not really. Didn't kick on too far on after you boys left. Sadly, you took most of the party with you.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know. Mate, how good was Martin Bayfield's stories? I was enjoying those so much.
So good.
What a storyteller!
He's a good boy, isn't he? I like Bayfield.
He's a fantastic man. Yeah, fantastic man.
And his Lawrence Delanio impression is absolutely spot on, isn't it?
I feel like
give us the head gestures.
Yeah.
I feel bloody lucky to get to work with blokes like that, like Babes and Lawrence Delanio. Like, just, you know what I mean? Just sat there in amongst them, like, this is fucking cool, by the way. Just getting to work with these blokes.
They're lovely guys. Yeah, really good crack.
Because those post beer kind of the post game like beers when we were chatting, and it was just a room full of kind of rugby legends.
Oh, Uncle Pat, right? Max was mixing with Uncle Pat.
Yeah, and at one point I was like, "This is weird. This is so weird." And just two of one of my past head coaches, and my current head coach. It was just funny as. But yeah.
Wait, your past head coach, what's his name? Lynn Jones. No,
Lynn Jones. Oh, one of the.
And what did he? And he remembered the story of giving you like.
No, I don't think he did. I think it's no. I didn't even reference it to him because I wasn't sure how serious he was right then. You know what I mean? But. Oh, mate, he is a singular man. One of the most eccentric characters I've had the pleasure of being coached by. He would just do odd things, just throw curveballs at you as a coach. It was really funny. What was it?
And that story was the one when he's talking to you, kind of.
Oh, he's just talking to me, and he pulls the old boy out and just starts having a waz as we're walking back to the clubhouse. And I was like,
what are you gonna say?
I was 21, 22 at the time, and I was like, "Is this pro rugby? Is it fair?"
Rugby's different.
Sloper as a judge, he's big, deadly serious about what he's talking to me about. It's like something about set piece or something, and he's just got his piece. And I was just like, "This is wild." Yeah, great crack.
Yeah, that was him on Saturday night as well. Actually, I remember that. That was pretty good when he got. What else happened on Saturday? That was it. So you took it pretty easy after we left you.
No, do you know what he did remember? Mark, he remembered me forgetting my boots for the final, the champion.
Yes.
For the Championship Cup. Yeah, that was good times.
You forgot your boots in a final.
Boots, and he was like, "Yeah."
Think how many people he's coached in his life.
Think
how many people, and
he remembered that.
Isolate that one memory of you.
Good from me.
How good.
Not the first time, nor it might not be the last, hopefully. But yeah,
as long as you stick in people's heads, doesn't matter how you do it. But yeah, so Saturday night, Cardiff, which, by the way, the juxtaposition of the Friday versus Saturday. Friday before a game, it felt quite dead, right? Saturday,
it was
cool. It was pretty cool. It was like the whole everything around that. I don't know. I felt like Tottenham last year, Champions Cup. The atmosphere was better.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like the atmosphere, more gravitas, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, there was stadium better as well.
The stadium at Cardiff is bigger. Sorry.
No. The stadium at Tottenham Hotspur is not bigger, but I think it's better designed, acoustics, everything about it is better.
That is it. That is it. It's not as big, but it felt busier. It just felt a little bit more special. So it was a shame that was the case. But still, what a match. We've been through all the stuff. Everyone's seen the celebrations. Quick note on that, Max. What do you think of it? Because I don't mind it. I think it's quite funny.
Mate, it's great for the game. It's like wrestling, isn't it? The heel, the hero. I think it's fantastic. I love that's gone viral. That's fantastic. Great for Pollock.
Doesn't Pollock sort of think like don't you feel like he'd kind of, that's the kind of stuff he'd take quite well? Like, I don't know.
Part of what he's about, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Coming out, he's like, I want to change the game. I want to leave my mark on it. And I think for his first Champions Cup final, I think he's already done that. So fair.
And that he's being targeted like that for as a 20-year-old in his first like professional season shows already. And these, and I feel like all the chat around, none of them said, the non-Northampton boys actually said anything about mercenaries. It was put to Pollock on Lawrence Delanier's podcast, and it was just they said it. He didn't say anything, but then they obviously used that whatever he used to motivate.
Let's talk about the celebrations in Bordeaux because they looked good. I did message Ben Tamafuna, see if he'd be about. Had nothing back from him. He's probably still hanging out his arse, but the celebrations, yeah, they went on. They went on and on and on and on.
What, are they still going?
Oh no, I think they had a game at the weekend. There was a clip I saw of him like getting pulled off the floor, and it was like day 7. And then like picking him up. They're picking him up off the floor on the pitch, like where he's obviously wrecked. Surely they didn't play this week. Surely
they did, mate. They lost to our boy was playing. Facundo Issa was playing. They've lost to Toulon.
Yeah, but you're telling me Ben Tamafuna went on the piss for 6 days and then went and tried to play a game of
rugby here. That'd be tough. Bordeaux's a hell of a city as well. They must have been hungry for it. Like the fan base there is fanatical now for Bordeaux rugby. So, mate, it must have been unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh well, all the videos that I saw, he was leading it. He was leading the charge.
Fancy dress as well. They were in like the cop gear as well.
That wasn't fancy dress. That was he had taken that off of a policeman in the street. That was there's a video of them with the police in the street, and then the police are giving them their gear. That's not fancy dress.
Oh, that is.
It's so good. I was like, God, they've got some really good. Because I think he had the flak jacket on or something. It was like
that was off the policeman, the gendarmerie. So they were kicking the arse out of it, boys. And whilst we talk about gendarmerie, is that how you say it?
Gendarmerie, yeah.
Max, what is that squealing in the background? Have you tied someone up?
No, it's the neighbours' children.
Fucking shut up. You missed out on a bloody good weekend down.
I know. I was very jelly. It looked like scenes. It looked like scenes.
Wow.
Wait, hang on, Ryan. At 5 a.m. or no, 4:30 when our alarm, having got a cab from Cardiff to London Heathrow, and then we got in at what? I don't know. I can't even remember. 1, 2, whatever it was, and then our alarm goes off. What? 2 hours later. Honestly, I stood up and I looked at Ryan and I went, I fucking hate you. I didn't want to be.
As if it was my fault.
I didn't want to be there, and it was.
You just wanted to teleport, didn't you? You were like,
I just wanted
to teleport.
And my brother's in the room next door, and he's not catching a flight back to Hong Kong till the night. And in my mind, I'm like, I could be there, just not here.
There's becoming a trend here. Me in hotels with either of you, just been like, "Fuck you, Wilson. I don't want to be here." The French Adventure, and then this.
It's because you take I don't know why, but when you're in the underworld, you seem to thrive. You seem to revel in it. You revel in being in the Tartarus of your soul. When you're in that like the apex of degeneracy on a bender. I think you just really you're like, yeah, this is a bit of me.
Yeah,
this is a bit of me.
I think you're right.
Whereas I'm like, oh my God, I need to get out of here now. What am I doing? I get existential.
Do you know what? That is so fitting because there is a comment in here which I've got from last week's episode. It says, this is from Nikiety36. This channel deserves more likes for fuck's sake. Another great episode. I recall seeing Max for the first time at a Bath versus Chiefs game, and I thought how mean and grumpy that monster looked. Then he says, this pod allows you to meet the players and really get an insight into their personalities, like how Ryan isn't actually a knob, and you
isn't actually a social alien.
Yeah. He's obviously watched The French Adventure because he said, and you definitely want him with you if things went south in a foreign country. So,
that's fair. You are plucky. You are a plucky can-do man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Nickety36, whoever you are. But
sometimes it goes south because you're with Wilson in a foreign country. But
I said to Mark, come on, stop being such a fucking baby and let's go. And off we went. Landed in Monaco.
Two of my best friends would happen to be on the flight and we're just like, hi. It's so random.
We were hanging.
we were like awful, and I had no
I
chat.
was big Facundo. You had a good time?
What a lovely gentleman. What
a
a
legend.
bloody bloke. So we'll have to get him on here at some point. He doesn't speak much English. That's his only problem.
But his French, by the way, it's completely fluent, of course, but it has like a Southwest France accent. Like he has a sort of Toulon Toulouse accent. So he does it's a bit like, you know, that old Harry Enfield with the Geordie YI shag that bird like, and you're like, the
like
Spanish,
really...
Julio Giorgio.
He's been there 9 years. He's been there 9 years, and he learned French there. So you'd expect that to be, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's brilliant. It doesn't sound like a Spanish Argentinian guy speaking French. It just sounds like a French guy. But yeah, what a great guy.
Mate,
what is dad?
Who else were you rubbing shoulders with then?
Chris Gayle, the cricketer.
Oh my God, I saw that photo. I was so jealous. I was like, I didn't even watch cricket, but everyone knew that Chris Gayle was the coolest man on the planet.
What a legend. All I've got is a video of him being like, if you play dominoes, you take it fucking seriously. Dominoes is a serious game.
Yeah, dominoes is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, deadly serious.
Serious.
Like, you don't fuck around playing dominoes. Who else was on that balcony? Did I see Michael Flatley at some point? Because Simon Zebo said to me that I tried to FaceTime him with Michael Flatley.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that really rings a bell.
Yeah. So apparently we saw Michael Flatley, because I don't remember seeing Michael Flatley, but Zeebs was like, "Well, thanks for the voice note." My mum, I sent it to my mum and dad. I was buzzing that Michael Flatley. Apparently the voice note said something like, "I love the way you fucking dress, Simon." Like, what the fuck? David Coulthard the next day. But we kicked the arse out of it. We had a 5 o'clock.
Hang on, because Max, you know, we're at this amazing. So the wonderful chaps at Yachts. What are they called? Yacht International.
Well, let's just call it Rusty. Russell Crump. What a man. What a host.
But they hosted us, and they have this amazing veranda overlooking the grid, right? And it was insane. But then, so it's a really classy event. Champagne everywhere. You know, I'm sure it must have cost each person, whoever, if you had to pay, you know, it was like one of those sort of $4,000 or $5,000 euro a head type thing.
It's the sort of thing Mark goes to on a regular basis.
Yeah. Bloody woof. Yeah.
Actually, one of the comments on your reel was, "Did Mark get you invited?" Anyway, and it was amazing. And then at one point, I turned around and Ryan has got 10 strangers, and all you can hear is Jimmy, and he's got all these people learning how to play Jimmy, the best drinking game ever. Yeah. And they're into it. To be fair, they were really they were into it.
The rich know how to party, and I just thought, add another little string to their bow. If I teach them Jimmy, they'll be even happier. I was behind the bar serving myself. I got to one point, I was just like, right, this is taking too long, so I just kept coming back with bottles of rosé. Just, boys, will serve ourselves. And things went a bit south, didn't they? We don't have to get.
Do you remember seeing Jason Robinson, by the way?
No.
I knew you wouldn't. Right at the last club, right at the end. And it's literally, he's like next to us. And then I saw him, he was on my flight the next day, and he was like, "Is Wilson all right?" I don't think he was. Did he make it home last night? Because you were literally like,
no, I was like, yeah. The next day we had to go to a beach bar quite early and get down there, and that's when it all kicked off again. Boats.
No, I could tell you were in trouble, because you just like, when you were using your camera on the stories as well, you were like, you just had those shakes and stuff. And you weren't like doing anything in particular. We just like, we were just like videoing stuff.
Yeah, well, I think that's just from where you're drunk, isn't it? You don't know.
No, I know what it is. It was just very. I was just like, yeah, he's having
so. Max, do you know who we mean by Tamer Hassan? He's like an actor. You know, he's the badass actor.
Yeah. Football Factory. Yeah.
The business.
Go on, give us some.
What's the line?
Spell it. C-U-N-T, cat. I'm 11, soppy bollocks. Mate, great scene. When they're having crap at the kids' football game. Oh.
When he walks in, it's like, oh, it's Tamer Hassan. He's here. He's having literally lunch there right in front of us. And Ryan's like, you know what? I think one of the Scotland guys used to go out with his daughter. And
No,
I was like,
I said I think he does. I was like, I'm not sure whether he
I'm
does.
not sure if
anymore.
he does or he doesn't. So I'm like, just go and like, say it because that's a perfect in. You know, it's not weird, and he might like rugby. Oh, how did he respond, Ryan?
Mate, yeah, obviously things weren't quite that amicable between the certain player and his daughter. Yeah, wasn't happy. Which point I turned and said, "Well, he's not my mate." So I'm with you.
By
the way, you know when you did that impression of him,
Yeah.
and when he acts, and you're like, "Oh, he's a really good actor." No. That's him in real life. Oh, fucking poke holes in the can. Oh, fucking shit.
No, what did he say to you? He said 1,000 quid for anybody, you know, if anything happens, 1,000 quid if you get any of your mates. And I'm like,
He was only joking, though. Let's not get him in trouble.
Only joking, of course. But it was the switch from, and then it was like, he's not my mate. Oh, then you're all right. Like you were straight away his mate, and then he could tell you all the stories.
And then I actually went to another beach bar, and we were sat there next to Nigel Farage, just having lunch. Nigel Farage just looked like he was just been on the TV. He's in the same suit, just sort of sat there next to us. It's a fucking weird place, isn't it? But what a wonderful weekend. I think that's, we've just done a 20-minute podcast on just.
Sorry, let's not do that. For those,
apologies. Next time we need to go together as a group. But a big shout out to Russell Crump. Big Rusty, what a man.
Big Rusty.
We'll be there next year. We'll be there next year in even more force.
Yeah. Yacht Partners, I think they're called anyway. Partners.
YPI.
Yeah, Yacht Partners. Okay. So, in any case, let's head back round. Apologies to our listeners and our viewers who only wanted a bit more rugby. We're sorry we've taken a quick detour, but it was quite a big weekend because it was the longest we spent, all of us together like that. And it was great fun. But let's go back to rounding up the Premiership and quick word on the kind of changing fortunes for clubs. Ryan, they were your dark horse. Gloucester mathematically showed the most improvement from any team this season, finishing 5th with a 24-point increase from 2024. And, probably most of the tries of the season coming from them as well, right, Max?
Yeah, they've had a very good campaign. I think it'll be interesting to see how they deal with losing guys like Harrison, Santi Carreras, Freddie Clark, etc. Those guys are pretty integral to the club's DNA, but I'm sure they'll find a way. George Kivington's been a pretty canny fox. Him and Lightfoot Brown and Don Waldock doing really great things over there. Christian Wade's last touch of the ball seemed fitting. Straight back to league after a 80-meter sprint, and fair play to the bloke. Yeah, great man. Sad to see him leave the Prem again, but such is the way of these things. But yeah, Gloucester, huge, just sort of missed out just because we all sort of won our games. Leicester did the job over Newcastle. I think Hassel Collins has ended up being top try scorer now of the season. Fair play to him. That's awesome. Then you got Sale at Exeter was interesting because they almost got it done, lads. Chiefs almost had the upset there, but Sale with all the names doing bits. Bevan Rod under the sticks. Asher Opoku for Jaw. He was class. Oh man, it was a consummate game for large parts by Sale. But yeah, Exeter just staying in it and almost getting it done through Capstick. Bampo Brown, oh man, it's tough season for Exeter. They got quite a lot of work to do in the off season, but they were sort of showing sort of signs of life towards the back end of the season when it was sort of too little, too late. To be fair to them.
Word on Northampton as well. Is that a successful season for them? I mean, if we look at how they defended their Premiership crown, it didn't go particularly well, but that incredible run to the final, and again the final heartbreakingly coming so close. How do you view that now, a couple of weeks on?
It's been a bit odd, hasn't it, Northampton? Because you do look at the way that they've sort of rolled into the back end of the season with Europe and stuff, but they just lost a bit of form and it just got away from them. But they managed to find it. So I think they're going to be strong next season. I think they're in a good place for next year. But no, it's not. It's not a successful season, is it? Because they haven't got any silverware. And right, so they were Prem champs. Yeah, Prem champs. So
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, listen, they did. They obviously did well in Champions Cup. They did really well, but they'll be bitterly disappointed with their Prem form this year, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree. But the final was big, so like a B, grade at a B.
Yeah, great at B. I mean, you don't get remembered for losing, though, do you? So
This is true. This is true. But given how they were doing in the Premiership, I think they had like big injuries. I think losing Courtney Laws, losing Ludlam, I think those guys were big, and I think this year's has allowed sort of some younger players to step up, namely a certain someone, Vince Smith Pollock, kind of sort of filling that void. I think next year it's quite a young player base. Losing Augustus though, that's pretty huge. It'll be interesting to see how they feel that, because he's sort of all conditions number 8. You can just do those nasty carries in the tight spaces. And I don't think they've got a gut. Maybe Pearson, but they don't really have that sort of figurehead up front right now. So
I feel like there's a hell of a lot when you keep talking about like players that are leaving. Hell of a lot of players going out, and not a huge amount of players coming in.
Squad's getting smaller, bro. Squads are getting a lot smaller now. So yeah, it's going to be tough. I think.
Hey, the thing, look, I'm looking at that there. Saints 9 players out, and they've only got four pro players coming in. They got Anthony Bellau.
Oh yeah, Bellau. He's great, French. Yeah,
Callum Chick. Kundiona.
That's a good signing, though, isn't it?
Fischetti's a big one from Denver. He's a big player. But they're losing. Yeah, they're losing 5 players. So, and as you go through most of the squads, like a lot of them, the 4 out and 1 in for Newcastle. Leicester's ridiculous. 15 players out, only 5 in. So yeah, where are all these players going?
Podcast, mate.
You what?
Doing podcasts.
True. They'll be trying. They won't be getting anywhere. It's hard work, isn't it?
Last words on Saracens, which we haven't touched upon. Changing the guards. First time they haven't been.
I think
2009 bar relegation.
Yeah, it's been a weird one for them. It's a bit of an anomaly because all the guys you sort of associate with are there, other than Faz. Like the guys you associate with their success have been around. I think Tom Willis has had I think he's broke the records for defenders beaten. He's had the most monumental, crazy season ever. Maritoge is playing very well. Jamie George playing very well. Like a lot of these guys have still had strong seasons. It's just, I think Finn Burke trying to adapt to sort of a kick-heavy attack coming from Canterbury, and then losing Faz. I think maybe they sort of underestimate. No, I doubt they did, but losing Faz was probably bigger than they thought in terms of how much IP you're losing, how much culture off the field you're losing. Because for all sort of effects, he sort of was like a head coaching figure for that squad of players. So
yeah, but Max, there's a rumor that he's coming back.
Yeah, no, I heard that he's coming back.
What do we think of that?
I like that, boys.
I think it's a good one.
I think bringing someone like that back is good.
Yeah, huge. I think he's just he's associated big with English rugby. I think it's massive.
And you also see him as part of the woodwork there, and someone that will coach there afterwards. So it only makes sense to get him back as a player, start transitioning him into a coach, because that's clearly what he's going to do. He's going to follow in the footsteps of his old man, and by all accounts, he knows the game inside out. So I like that. I like the fact that he's being touted to come back to Sarries. It would be weird for him to come back somewhere else. Like they talked Leicester at one point, and you're like, wouldn't even sit right with me.
Yeah, it'd be odd. I concur. That would be very odd.
It'd be like Peter Marnie retiring and going back to Leinster, or me signing for Edinburgh.
Let's predict the semi-finals. I won't let Max do the Bath versus Bristol, but Ryan, yeah. Come on, the Bears. Leicester Tigers versus Sale.
It's at Leicester, isn't it? And I heard Alex Sanderson saying, "No, we owe them one. We've got to go back up there and do it." I reckon Sale might get it done, so I'm going to go Sale.
I would have said that, but I feel like they go out of the gate. They die quite suddenly in the back end of the game. So I'm going to go with Sale. Yeah, I'm going to go with Sale. I think they'll come in formidable. Yeah, they'll be angry.
Well, ladies and gents, I'm going to take this opportunity to say a massive, massive thank you to Wolf Craig Distillers. That's right, they were the ones that got us down to Monaco in the end. They provided the alcohol and the whiskey for that wonderful event down there in Monaco, and they've been with us all the way. All you've got to do is head over to
wolfcraig.com.
You can grab yourself a wonderful little tipple of whatever you like, whether it be whiskey, gin. The summer's coming, even though it's pissing around in Glasgow. Can't make a real gin cocktail or a whiskey sour, but you need to head over to wolfcraig.com, grab yourself something nice, and even go and check out the Maul or Nothing bundle. Thank you very much, Wolf Craig Distillers.
Fabulous. Right, let's go on to the URC and a lot of talking points around fabulous weekend of quarterfinal action. Let's start with your boys, right? Doing their job, defeating the Stormers at home, disciplined, and
well, they weren't. They gave away 18 penalties, but still managed to dismantle the Stormers because they had something like 18 line breaks. But
wasn't it the Stormers who kept dropping, who themselves were?
Yeah, they weren't great. And like John Dobson came out afterwards and spoke about it and said how poor they were. He doesn't know what went wrong. They were confident coming into it. They were the team with form. Glasgow have been completely out of form towards the end of the season. But exactly as old Franco Smith said, he said form doesn't matter when you get to knockout rugby. It's what you do on the day. And they turned out likes of Henko Venter, who's moving on to Breathe. Carl Steyn for a winger. Not even just his attack. Defensively, was just on the money. And then, like I said, Tom Jordan, boys, he was next level. He was class. Sione Tuapolotu looks like he's not even been away. He's been out for 3 months. Played 40 minutes 2 weeks ago against Leinster. Again, didn't even look out of place there. And then suddenly rolls into this. He was shit hot. Like triple threat everywhere. He was so good. So, yeah, proud of the boys, actually. I was buzzing. It was a good game. And it was nice to see him. It was nice to see him get a good win because they needed it rolling into the semi-final. They now go up against Leinster. We were waiting to see what happens with Scarlets versus Leinster. So we'll get onto that. But not enough players coming back. I would have liked a couple more boys, maybe a Xander Fagerson or a Matt Fagerson because they're still injured. Jack Dempsey's still out with an injury. Hugh Jones isn't looking great still, so needs some more boys back. But shall we get on to why I think they might beat Leinster?
Go on then.
So I headed over to Dublin, Max, on Saturday to go and watch that game. And do you remember I said it a couple of weeks ago? I think they might have peaked too early. Well, they just look out of sorts, boys. We chatted to Jack Conan afterwards. We spoke to him in an interview, and he just seemed like flat. They've just won a quarterfinal. You're through to the semi-final, and it's like, oh, we didn't do this right, and we didn't do that right, and we forced that too much. And you're like, we were just all sort of sat there going, fucking hell, you've just, me, Zeeb, Stephen Ferris were like, just won a quarterfinal. Like, you try and find the positives, but it seemed like they couldn't. It seems like they've got something going on up here. And Scarlets, don't know if you saw it, Max, but Scarlets ran them close.
Do you reckon it's the weight of expectation has just become too much now?
Honestly, like everyone was saying, have they got the monkey off their back? Like from obviously that semi-final loss. Will this get the monkey off their back? And well, it didn't look like it because Scarlets were in with a chance. So first half, I think there was only 1 point in it coming into the second half. But I don't know, there was just something about it where they just still didn't look amazing. They still didn't look great, whereas Glasgow really did. And that excites me. I think there's more weight on them than there is Glasgow to go there. And you'd think the champions go in there in a semi-final, there's more sort of onus on them to make sure they win. But actually, I don't know. I think there's more weight on Leinster now.
Do we think that there's a psychological impact? We're saying, have they kind of exercised the semi-final ghost? But it's actually, if everything is geared towards winning the Champions Cup, right? As in, that is the thing. And of course, they want to win the URC. But I mean, it seems as though it's secondary to winning the Champions Cup. And as soon as that's done, you're like, why am I still having to dance, basically?
I feel like before South Africa joined, it was more like that. I think the URC is like, it's a big deal now to win it. And like,
but for Leinster,
yeah,
for this particular season, right, for them, do you think that there's an element of we just wanted to win the
yeah.
Champions Cup?
So it's like, do you reckon there's like mentally, it's like, who cares now? Why
I don't know if it's a case of that, but there's definitely a bit of when they signed Schneiman, when they signed Geordie Barrett, they're like, "Come here, we're going to get another star."
We're going to do it, yeah.
And that is, I reckon that they could have. That's all they could have like set their sights on, and thought the URC might just come. But then when that fell away from them, suddenly the pressure's on even more. Like Leo Cullen has to win something, because if he doesn't, with that players, with that the amount of money they're spending, then something ain't right there. And I just think they're going to be under pressure. So it's going to be a big one Saturday. I'm looking forward to Saturday. I can't fucking wait. It's going to be wicked.
Let's talk about
Sharks. Oh, by the way, Zeebs. Oh my God, Zeebs. Because you saw all the social media stuff about he did when they got knocked out of the semi-finals, where he's like, "Oh, Leinster, I'm so sorry," like fucking laughing and like, when Prem Sports got him on for the Leinster game, I was like, why are they? It's bad enough inviting me there, but why are they getting Zeebs there as well, just to rub it in even more? He's fucking so funny, and me and him are in the stands. Scarlets score. And bearing in mind, all the Scarlets fans are over the other side. There's probably about 500 Scarlets fans. Yeah. And then it's me and Simon Zebo this side. And we're like, yeah, come on. All the fans are looking behind him like, what the fuck's going on? So I'm glad it's not just me that does it. He does it as well.
Was there any other aggro, though? It was all right. It was all...
No, it was all good. It was
nothing too bad. Let's talk Sharks edging Munster in a dramatic penalty shootout. Potentially the worst thing ever, right? I mean, it's as in it's not like a football penalty shootout where you're like, oh, it's just whoever's not shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, how sucky is that? You all remember Martin Williams back in the day, last kick of his career, was it? It's like most amazing servants to rugby ever. And that's how...
it could have been Conor Murray's last kick of his career as well, which put him out, because he needed to kick that, and it was a clutch kick from 45, nearly 50 metres out to take them tie, right? To take them level at the end of the game. There was 2 minutes left. Me and Zeebs were sat there, and Zeebs was obviously nervous, but even I, not loving Munster, was like, this isn't right. I want him to get it because I don't want this to be his last action in a Munster show. If he misses this is the fucking worst way to go out. So I was actually happy that he got that over. And then it took it into extra time. And it was just like, you're right, it's a shit way to end the game. I don't think this is how a game that's tied should end, Max, because equally, what it did was with the teams is they were like, oh, no one wanted to lose. So even at the end, I think it was Hendrikse, they kicked the ball out to go to the penalty shootout, instead of trying to play to win, because it was like they didn't want to lose. So they should do golden try. That's what
golden try every 2 minutes or every 5 minutes, take off a player or something so that you get, so it opens up and then you've just
What do you reckon, Max?
Golden try take off a player every 5 minutes.
Or just a golden point. Because then you just get close and you just try slotting.
Yeah, I think golden point's fine.
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
You can't have that. That's just not. It's not great viewing. I don't know. It just didn't.
Well, should we talk about why it was good viewing?
Yeah. Okay. Come on. What are our thoughts on Winkgate? Could you, Ryan, explain what has actually happened for those who haven't seen it?
Max, did you see it live?
I didn't see it live. No, I watched it afterwards.
So there's a lot of chat around this, right? So we've got Jaden Hendrikse, who, by the way, I text asking if the cramp's all right and if he wants to come on the podcast. He might have messaged since. So, but we've got Jaden Hendrikse, who has gone down. I can't remember who kicked the first. So they kicked the first one in front of the post, don't they?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a pretty kick from Crowley. It was a shank. It almost didn't go over, the straightforward one. Then you go out to the right, and you got the other Hendrikse brother, and you got Scannell, who misses. Then it goes over to the other side, and you got Conor Murray, I think, and Bradley Davids, who slot their kicks. Anyway, it comes back around to the middle again. Hendrikse takes his kick and then falls on the spot, right where the kick needs to be taken from, and says he's got cramp. But like, cramp in his calf. So
Exactly. So you can just move out the way. You could just crawl. You could limp. You could crawl. You could roll to the side.
someone could drag you.
Exactly. But it's just bananas. It's the greatest shithousery of all shithousery, isn't it?
Are you against it? Are you? Because
It depends I think it just depends like what your narrative is. Like, I think if you're about that life, then you fucking own that shit, man. You shithouse all day, all night. That's what I'm thinking. But I think certain sensibilities in this game, especially in the culture of rugby, I think it should all be sportsmen.
Yeah, but that is wrong, because this is what pissed me off, right? After Hendrikse kicked his kick, he then walked back and he was saying something to Jack Crowley. And Mikey Adamson, the referee, went, whoa, enough of that, or I'll make you retake your kick. No, you fucking can't make him retake his kick. That's not a rule. Shut up.
You've been a very naughty boy.
Mikey Adamson, wind your neck in. That's a ridiculous thing to say. I'm for that life.
Yeah,
Like,
you
let
like
him
you
say
love
what
a
he wants
pledge.
to him.
What?
Let him say. Let him.
Yeah, let him stick talk. I'm all about the stick talk. I think it's funny.
Yeah, so that pissed me off. All right. So I was like, no, that's. And so when the referee says, I'll make you take this again, you go, fucking, that's not a rule. That's not a rule. Don't be so stupid. So anyway, falling on the ground next to where your tears, that could have been dealt with a lot better. They could have just said, can you roll him out the way,
Yeah,
please?
just roll him, drag him, pick him up.
But what the best thing was, Max, is right at the end of it, after probably 5 minutes of having cramp in your calf, the wink.
Oh.
Which I love even more. I actually think it's brilliant.
So shameless. It's so shameless. It's like, I could do this and I'm getting away with it. I'm going to get away with this.
But so I don't know. No one knows what the exchange of words were, but then Jack Crowley knocks it over. He's not happy. He's kicking off now. Yeah, you fucking this. You fucking. Then they slotted all. No one else missed the penalty, but Bradley Davids, the young 22-year-old, steps up, slots his kick, and the Sharks go through and win. And I don't know. It's just, as much as we always give him a bit of stick, the Irish version of Alan Titmarsh, Peter O'Mahony, it is not the way. It's not the way you wanted to see him go out. You don't want to see people go out with that way of. Do you know what I mean? On a penalty shootout, it's a bit shit. Yeah. But I think Sharks, it was always going to be a big ask going down to the Shark Tank, playing them down there with all those World Cup stars. But even when you say that, they're just for the fucking. It's weird.
Yeah, they don't quite. There's an impediment there, isn't there? There's something going on. There's something going wrong.
So I'll tell you what Zeebs was saying to me, actually. It was really interesting. So when Eben Etzebeth gets done for being offside and charging down, and it's like the most blatant penalty ever, he says, if that was Rassie that was the coach, they wouldn't do that because Rassie would fucking tear him a new one. Like, so the players just wouldn't do it. He said, so there's like a mindset thing there. When you're being coached by Rassie, you do what you're told or you're out of it. Also, the game plan. You've got giant human beings that are built for fucking just going straight up the guts, and they get an Eben Etzebeth to try and put the ball out the back to like fucking Bongi and Bonambi. It was just fucking mad. Nkunu, Max. Destroyer. Oh my God, that man came on and he was just fucking bulldozing people as well. So fair play to the Sharks, but even if Munster had won, there's no chance. After travelling all the way to Durban, they were going up to Pretoria altitude after playing, 100 minutes of rugby? There's no chance they were going to get that done.
Huge. And Bulls have just come leaps and bounds into the back end of the season.
So there you are. Sorry, that was quite a long roundup of it. But
no, that's fine, because also we didn't. So Bulls themselves actually rallying from a, I think they were 21-8 down at one point, but you never thought it would be anything else, did you, Ryan?
I did not. Fair play to Edinburgh for getting close. It was a bit odd when Jake White came out before the game and they said, "Jake, how are you?" And he said, "No, all good. I had Sean Everett round for a braai last night." And then they asked Sean Everett, "Oh, how was the braai last night?" And he's like, "No, lovely. He cooked some lamb chops and some steak, and his wife made a lovely salad." I was just like, "What am I watching? What is going on here?"
You're watching lovely South African hospitality.
It was the same when they went to Tyburn before the game. The South African reporter asks really weird question. "Have you had a good week?" Gets it over to Tyburn. He's like, yeah. Been to the mall. Went for some coffees. We're fucking quarterfinal down in the fucking Shark Tank. You're telling people you went to the mall in the week, had a couple of coffees. It was just a bit odd, but Ball's got it done. But again, showed that there's a little bit there that teams can get after. The fact that Edinburgh got so far up and let go of it, it still gives me confidence. So, boys, I know we're going to get to it. I'm rallying for it. A big Glasgow win this weekend. I think the Bulls do the job, and it's a rerun. Get Wilson down to Pretoria, baby.
Wait. So you think the Bulls will see off the Sharks?
Yeah, I do. I think up there in Pretoria. Max, tell me how fucked are you when the difference between playing even 70 minutes, when they take you off 10 minutes before the end of the match, opposed to 80, how the difference you feel. I felt like a brand new car on Monday morning if I'd only played 70 compared to 80.
Yeah. But at the moment, mate, I'm playing like 35, 40s at the moment. Last few games, and I'm still dust.
But the reason I'm saying that though is imagine playing 100 minutes of fucking quarterfinal rugby.
No, it'd be ludicrous, wouldn't it?
So I genuinely reckon that has such a big impact on Sharks that it'll knock the wind out of their sails when they go up to Pretoria. So it's a big old arse. Like you said, the Bulls will be wounded from last season, where they should have probably beaten Glasgow, shouldn't they?
The redemption arc is on.
Yeah, so I just think it would be amazing if it was Glasgow Bulls again over there.
It would be quite good crack, actually. It would be very poetic.
Does it work like that, right? So if the Bulls win, you guys have to go there. If the Sharks win, they come to you. Is that right? Or no? Did you finish above the? Yeah, that's right.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
So if I was you, no, sorry, Sharks finished above you. No, that doesn't work. Okay, scratch that.
Yeah, you're right. They jumped to third, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah. When you were having a bit of a wobble end of season.
Although I'll be honest, I would rather go to Durban.
Is that where you're just thinking where you want to go out on the lash? Yeah,
much better down in Durban.
It would be good.
Sorry to anyone that listens that lives in Pretoria, but to our South African followers and listeners, please comment below where you would rather go. Would you rather not for the rugby, just for a week? I'd rather go down to the beach, Pretoria, down to Durban, get down to Umhlanga Rocks. Oh,
what about our listeners from Pretoria? Tell us why you think Ryan will have more fun in Pretoria than he would in Durban.
Yeah, do that, actually. Do that. And also, after last year, I think Jake White thought that I was maybe when I was watching their team run last year before Glasgow, maybe he thought I was taking notes, so maybe they're going to get after me. But boys, I don't mind wherever in South Africa, as long as Glasgow beat Leinster, which I think they will, then we'll be all good.
You're going to have a real problem, though, if Max ends up getting in the final and then you're having to go down there.
Oh, fuck. Is it the same weekend?
I think so, yeah.
That is a
anyway,
shame.
that is a conundrum we would love to have, I think.
It is a conundrum we'd love to have, but if it didn't, that means I can take Max to South Africa.
So potentially one of Ryan Wilson's worst ideas, but we sort of have to entertain him every so often and let him feel like he's in control.
Hold on, and on that, let me know in the comments if you think this is a good idea, because we'll put this out as a social. Max is dreading it.
No, I don't want this going out.
So what we are doing, guys, is ranking in head-to-heads the retired players with almost no real kind of background what the rules are. It's just go on what you think, and it doesn't necessarily need to.
It doesn't mean anything. It's just a little fun game.
Right. So let's start with Dan Cole versus Cian Healy. Right.
Oh, I say
As an
Cian Healy.
Englishman, I'd say Dan Cole, but Cian Healy is probably most capped Irish player of all time. Champions Cups, etc. I'm going to go with Cian Healy.
Cian Healy.
Both Cian Healy. Okay, so
that is a tough one.
Joe Marler versus Jan Thomas.
We got to go. Jan's my boy, but Joe Marler's CV speaks for itself.
Oh, you're out of order. I'm going to pick Jan Thomas.
Okay, so
look, Max. I'm joking. I'll stick with you on Joe Marler. Good.
Okay,
CV.
so then Cian Healy versus Joe Marler. Go.
Cian Healy.
Who's better?
I think Cian Healy, just in terms of
There we go.
Don't say better, Mark. You can't say better. You've just got to say who are you choosing, because better
who are you choosing?
Fine.
For. Let's go for a
slugfest
in the back row. Peter O'Mahony versus Dan Lydiot.
I feel like Peter O'Mahony's longevity of his career it's just been like a higher level for longer, whereas Dan Lydiot sort of had that massive, huge peak of just being the tackler, player of the Six Nations, Grand Slam Wales legend. But then he sort of was left out of that Wales team for a long time. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I'll be honest, the Dragons didn't help him. The fucking Dragons do not help him.
Whereas O'Mahony's a centre point of Irish rugby for most of his career.
We're going to have to go with Peter O'Mahony then, aren't we?
Okay, Pom it is. Right, halfback battle. This is big.
This is awful.
Conor Murray versus Ben Youngs.
I'm going to go Ben Youngs.
Yeah, I'll go Ben Youngs. I'll go with you on Ben Youngs.
Danny Kerr or Dan Biggar? Different positions, doesn't matter. They're both retiring.
Dan Biggar. I think he's done a lot more, hasn't he? He's British and Irish line, etc. Danny Kerr, great bloke, great player, but yeah, Dan Biggar for me.
Dan Biggar it is.
Dan Biggar, Ben Youngs. Who wins the halfback retiree of 2025?
Oh, I mean, if we went by stat, I'm going to go Dan Biggar.
Oh man, that's tough. Yeah, I'll go with Dan Biggar.
And outside backs, because there's three, we're going to class them 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I like that. That's out of order, but I like it.
Ant Watson, Mike Brown, Alex Goode.
I think it's as presented.
Just like that.
And you could say Alex Goode is
mate,
literally,
he's done so much for Sarries.
Yeah, you're right. He's pretty much got every single one of those stars on there, hasn't he? He's been part of that. I'm just going, but if I had Ant Watson at the 15 position for Sarries back then, would that be different?
Oh, look at that! That's the old Ryan Wilson. My gran could drive that behind that pack. Yeah, no.
Why do you have to do that to me?
What are you doing?
Why are you even saying that?
Why? No, what are you doing?
Ant Watson is a phenomenal racehorse.
No, I'm not. I have no opinion.
Freak show.
Okay, and Ryan, you agree with that?
No, I don't know. I'm going to go.
Ant Watson, but Mike Brown was the man for so long. It's just because he's played for so long, you forgot about his days of his pomp in the England shirt.
I know, but I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it round the other way. Alex,
you're going.
Mike Brown and Watson.
All right.
It's hard. Right. What a horrible game. Who came up with this idea?
Let us know, guys. What do you think? Do you think the boys did they do well in their ranking system? or not, let us know. But sadly, on that note, we are going to have to say goodbye for a week and best of luck to you, Max. Seriously, the big last 4, go and do it at the Rec.
Let's go.
Get to
Friday
that
Night Lights
final.
beckons.
But before we go, I want to know, Max, Leinster or Glasgow Warriors?
My heart says Glasgow Warriors. My brain says Leinster.
So what are you going with?
Go with my heart.
Yeah, we always go with the hearts.
Go with your heart.
By the way, I predicted all of these right so far as well. Remember,
You
did it
can't
last
get
year.
2 years in a row. You did it. Yeah, you did
Right,
it.
but I got the quarters all right, so we're there at the moment. We're in the right place.
You actually
The
are.
other side, Bulls versus Sharks.
Yeah, Bulls.
Bulls, and then a Glasgow Bulls final. We'll discuss that next week. Let's discuss that next week. Max, good luck. I love you, and I want you to go well. But I also want to take you to South Africa. So,
And we love you all. Bye-bye.
Rocolo. Bye.
More or nothing.